And we're back for the finale. We're here for the death of an anime. We're here for the death of Dex. Well, that just got dark. But we're here to talk about the finale of My Hero Academia Season 8.
And we're back, everybody. Welcome to, and thank you so much for any of you that have been following us through this playthrough or walkthrough. Neither a walkthrough nor a playthrough. I take it all back. I am a terrible person. Anyone that's been watching us review these episodes of My Hero Academia over the many years that we've been doing for it, thank you for following us. Even if it's just one episode out of 10 that you've been listening to, or less even. We're so grateful for you. We're here today to wrap it all up and go over this final chapter in the series, one of the last little bits of the My Hero Academia universe, and the last of the core episodes. If you've been with us at all, then you know that we've been really enjoying this and having a fantastic time with it, and we're excited to bring this last episode to you, as well as our final thoughts on the series in general.
Oh, you're done? Okay, I thought you had something else there for that.
No, just giving you a little bit, giving you a little more energy than you had.
Ouch. Well, I mean, I agree, but
You're
ouch.
like, oh, I just took four quarts of wine.
Listen,
and
listen here.
out of it right now.
This is such a huge part of my life.
I want to say that today. We're good at what?
This is a huge part of my life, and I'm sad for it to go because I feel like as I was waiting to come to this point of us reviewing this episode from Saturday onward, which by the way I was sick. I'm still kind of fighting some of that, but I'm here regardless. You probably can't tell, but I've been contemplating this show, and I've been contemplating the end, and I've been contemplating what this means for me. And it's just another great show is gone now, and I'm really sad. Like, I really am. Like, I and this is even a lie. I'm just going to let you know a little bit of my state of being. I had made mention that to you specifically before we started this that I was listening to Hero 2, the song that they had playing that they made during one of the seasons during the Airy stuff, you know, the overhaul stuff. They had made there was like a song that he sang to Airy. I was listening to that, and I actually the first time I actually started listening to some of the lyrics of what, you know, Jero was singing, a lot of it I wasn't even aware that she was singing, so this was news to me. But I found myself kind of tearing up because I won't be able, like, you know, My Hero won't be on my mind anymore, and I'm just sad. I mean, this is bringing down the mood. I'm sorry, but like,
I think that's appropriate. I wouldn't apologize.
Oh, well, I really did find myself tearing up because this was a huge part of. I remember when I even first picked up the show, because like I picked it up first for you, and I only picked it up because I was hearing about how good this show was from other people, like online. It wasn't directly to me, but it was just like I was watching videos, and every now and then from other people who I was watching who reacted to stuff brought up My Hero Academia, and I started seeing like all kinds of stuff just everywhere about this show, or just the manga in general. And I remember just hearing about it. I was like, is this show really that good? And then I finally had that one day where I just had a headache, and I was like, I didn't want to do anything, so I just popped on an episode, and you know, rest is history. This literally, I don't think this is an exaggeration to say, I think I enjoy this more than Dragon Ball Z. This is probably my favorite show. I know you don't feel that way, but for me, I think I enjoy this more than Z. And you know how much I like Z, by the way. I'm just like, he knows how much I like Z. So like, for me to say this means like it must mean a lot for the show and for me in general. I think this show has done a lot for me that I enjoyed. Now other people might disagree with this statement, but I was like, it's a hot take, and this is my opinion. Like,
can I throw something out there?
Shut up.
No. Can I throw something out there though?
No, I was saying shut up. I'm gonna let you speak.
A lot of the fandom right now feels that this season is the best of them all. My personal favorite season is probably season 1, maybe season 2, but a lot of the fandom is calling this their favorite season. And you just watched the last episode of the series, and not only the last episode of the series, but last episode of what is debatably the best season of My Hero Academia of them all. And so a double whammy there, and you're hot out of it. And the last time you watched a Dragon Ball Z episode was like 10 years ago or more, like 15. I don't know when the last one came out or the last one you watched was, but I bet it was like 10, 15 years ago. It's the last time you watched a new episode of Dragon Ball Z. So, yeah, it may not age as gently as Dragon Ball Z did in your mind. Like 10 years from now, you might find that you ended up feeling more fond for Dragon Ball than for My Hero.
What? No, I'm not really. I mean, yeah, part of that, but like the afterglow of the show. No, but I spent a lot of time in my own mind with this show, and it, just like thinking about some things and rewatching some scenes and stuff like that. I mean, there was stuff I haven't told you about. I think I've thoroughly enjoyed this a little bit more than Z. This isn't saying that Z is a bad show. I'm just in terms of any of the new modern shows that exist, because Z isn't modern. Z is like old school, like original, OG. Well, not original, but OG. Part of the original pot. With things like Naruto and Bleach and stuff like that. And I will say, just give you some context. When Naruto ended, Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, I had a hard time gauging how I felt about the show with Z. And those two were in the same pot in terms of they came from the exact same era. For me, at least when it comes to this, there are a lot of people probably who thoroughly said that I don't think this is better than a Z. I would argue that I think it is. It may not be that much better than Z, but I will say I think I found myself liking at the end of all this, even if it is just the afterglow. And hey, I'm not gonna sit here and say that my opinion may not change, but I find it hard to think that maybe in the future, my opinion, maybe I won't be as like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever. This is the best thing since been. But I think I still will feel that I think I enjoyed this more than Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is.
Just to give you a parallel, when I finished watching, Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra. When I finished watching Korra, if you'd asked me the day that Korra was over, which of the two series I thought was better, I would have said that I liked them equally. But now that many years has gone by since I've seen it, I look back and I think that when I was done watching Avatar, I wanted to watch it over and over again. Like I was really into it and I wanted to watch it many times. And I did watch the whole series through at least 3 times. And I never went back to watch Korra. And I think about that and I'm like, well, except I still don't want to go back and watch Korra, having known that. But at the end of it, my feeling at the end of it was that I loved it. But I don't know. I just want to let you know, like, it may fade a little bit. You might be caught up in the sauce right now.
I find that I might actually watch this show over. Like, I'm not sure, like, it's not going to be immediate, but I found that I might, find myself wanting to watch it again. Because, I mean, this will give you a general idea. I haven't gone back to watch Naruto, and I told you before, like, I wasn't sure how I felt about that show after it ended. Like, I enjoyed everything that I had watched in that moment, but I haven't gone back to watch Naruto or Naruto Shippuden. Now, granted, I say this, and I might go back and watch it at some point. It's been so long since I've dabbled in that world anyway. But even at the same time, it's like, I don't know. There's something to me. I'm not saying this is like, but because everybody has their own opinions. Because some people, this might be their first anime period, and to those people, I say, go back in time to. I know you don't want to go back to the 90s or the early 2000s, but trust me, there are things in those years that are worth it. For me, coming from that era, I think this is probably one of my favorite. I'll be more specific of newer modern shonen. This is probably in the top 5 for me.
This is my top. This is my top. From the newer stuff, yeah.
In the newer generation of anything I've seen,
yeah,
top 5, like 100%. Where I would put it in the top 5, I have no idea. I mean, at least I need to watch Chainsaw Man and Kaizen and figure out where I'm in with that. Well, no, I think Black Clover is. I don't know where you put Black Clover. I think Black Clover might be OG, so maybe that doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like I will, I'll figure it out eventually. I know you're saying that I'm caught up right now and my feelings, but like, no, I just like, I don't think I really like. I feel like, and I guess this is another. I feel like I'm feeling the way I did when Dragon Ball Z had ended. And this is me being legitimately honest with you. Though I will say, back then, back in high school, this is before I knew the world of anime. So when Dragon Ball Z had ended, I honestly felt like I was lost because I didn't know where else to go for things like that. It was only through me feeling lost at the end of Dragon Ball Z. Well, no, because Dragon Ball Z had ended in 5th grade, and I was in high school when I felt this way. In general, when I found out like there's gotta be when I was pushed to think there's gotta be more stuff like Dragon Ball Z out there. I just gotta find it, and then I found all that stuff. That's when the pain that Z had left within my heart, finally has subsided. I was able to finally move on. Like My Hero right now, I'm in a different state. I'm no longer. I mean, I know there's other shows for me to watch, obviously, but I still kind of feel the same way that I did when Z had ended. Like I feel kind of not hurt, but it's like I kind of wish that there will be this will go on because I think as I was reviewing this show, I didn't think it was ever. I think in the back of my mind, even though I knew the show was gonna come to an end, subconsciously, it was like it's never gonna end. It's gonna keep on going. You're never gonna miss it. It's always gonna be there for you. And we're here now, December 15th, 2025, just to date this, and I'm feeling the same way I felt, not to the same degree, but somewhat same degree of how I felt when Z had ended. I feel like I honestly feel like there are probably nothing, and this is just now, but like there's always a chance something else will come along and I'll feel the same way. But I don't know, like I really thoroughly every week looked forward to the next episode of this show, and I could not wait to watch it. I don't feel that way about anything else that I'm watching right now. That's not saying that nothing else I'm watching is good. For some reason, My Hero was that show that put me in the same mindset that I was with Z. Could not wait to watch the next episode. And I've been feeling, because even between me picking up My Hero and then everything else beforehand, I wasn't feeling that way. I was like, okay, I could pick this show up at any point and be happy and be. I'm not craving the next episode. My Hero was that show for me where I was craving it. Like I wanted to watch the next episode immediately. I was like, why can't I watch this now? I haven't felt that way about anything else, and I'm pretty sure I'll come out of this tomorrow feeling the exact same way. I just like now I'm back at like I'm at balance now versus having something on a scale that I'm really looking forward to. Now, with that being said, was something else that I watched make me feel that way? I'm not saying no, but right now I can't see that. I can't see beyond the horizon. Because that's how I felt about Z. And then other shows kind of came in. Even Bleach didn't do that for me. And in fact, I dropped Bleach somewhere in college. I
felt this good about, it's not a shonen, but I felt this good about Dragon Prince.
Even Dragon Prince isn't really that for me. And I enjoy watching it. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait for Dragon King. But I'm not sitting here. I've never craved watch the next episode, like in the same regard. Like I need to have it now, and the problem with that maybe because Dragon Prince was always on Netflix. The next episode was there, so all I needed to do was pick a day to pick it up. Unlike other shows that I've watched, where there's no another episode after I watched the one. This is for me. It's like My Hero and Dragon.
If I had to pick a series, if I had to pick an animated series that's come out in the last, I don't know, 8 years that I felt like kept up with My Hero, it would have been Dragon Prince. That's all.
I know you don't feel this same way based on where you talk about it. And you enjoyed it. I know you did. It just, for me, I think I'm like, I don't know. A part of it may be a high, a part of it may not be, but this is just my feeling in the moment. And I'll probably never ever think about My Hero in the future unless something kind of brings a memory up or whatever. You got a game coming out like next year too that I may or may not play. I had no idea, but it's just I'm really saddened that this is over, and I'm happy that they got a good ending because we talk about it now. I guess it got a good ending. It's just I don't know if I would want to see a sequel series of them as adults. Some people were talking about how they would like to see In My Hero Shippuden, just continuing with them as adults, and I don't know how I ultimately feel about that.
Uh-huh.
Um, would I be there day one to watch it? Heck yeah, but I don't know. So the problem is like I don't want it to end, but another problem is like yeah, it should end. It's ended at a good spot, at least for me. Like I'm happy with how everything turned out. The only thing I'm not exactly 100% happy with, and I don't know, this OVA that I'm hearing about that may or may not be true. But apparently, it's coming out next weekend. I'm guessing.
Uh-huh.
This fictional thing we don't know about yet. Is no OVA coming out and I suspect that based off the fact that there was no conclusion to the Uraraka and Deku love story that they instituted much early on in the show and they completely dumped. Everything else kind of concluded. That was the only thing that didn't get a conclusion, or even like a mention. It was what's the deal with Uraraka and Deku? Because we know Uraraka likes Deku, but we don't know how Deku feels about her. We can assume.
I would take it even farther and say that they didn't even really confirm that they stayed close friends.
No, I suspect that they stayed close friends because they were
I
very
suspect it. I suspect it, and I think it might have even mentioned that they chipped in on his suit later, but I can't remember if they did or not. But it doesn't say that she chipped in any more than Sugar Rush did. But but we know they say straight out that she kept in touch with Froppy and those two work together sometimes. But it doesn't, and it paired off other groups of people. Do you know what I mean? And showed that they hung out a lot. And you even found out about Eri. You know what I mean? Hanging out with Earphone Jack and stuff like that, and playing music. But
But what do you expect?
you never really. What?
No, continue. Sorry, I'm shutting up. I'm gonna let you get your thought out. I'm bad at that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But now I kind of lost my momentum. But they never go out. I mean, you want to your headcanon makes you dying to do it, but you have to do it yourself. They don't tell you that they did anything.
I don't think I need to be told that they did anything, man. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing
I want to be told. I want to see it.
Why do you want to be told? I think it's
because I want to know how they got along.
My imagination is, I guess, more willing to go out there than you. But no, here's my thing. Based on the events that happened and everything, Deku ended up as a teacher, right? But Uraraka went off to be a hero. What in the world? Where in the world with those two? I mean, I'm guessing phone contact. It's not like phones don't exist, but still at the same time, it's I honestly, because they were all students, and it sounds to me they all kept in touch. I don't know why Deku would be the odd one out. I just want to.
Uraraka starts her business in the same city where Deku is teaching, so that she can be close to him, and they either have a relationship or a very close friendship. Or they have this common cause that they celebrate together, like seeking equality or promoting something with children or something like that they do together, and they work together in that organization and see each other once a week.
But the thing is, I agree with your sentiment of maybe. But here's the thing: it's not like Uraraka ever came out to him saying that she liked him or whatever. Oh, people around her did that to her. I will say I have experience with that, and I really hate it when you tell your friends that you might have a crush on somebody and then they completely out you. That's just a personal beef I have with people. But she never really outwardly said that she liked him. And on top of that, they were friends because they confided in each other when they were in high school, and they confided in each other leading up to the last day of high school. I mean, they were talking to each other. I don't know why. While I understand you kind of fall out with people, I feel like this is a situation where I don't think you would fall out with people going to UA, considering that you go there to learn to be a hero. Because everybody from Class 1A hung out with each other. Some of them more so than others. We have Kaminari, who literally apparently built up an entire building next to Jiro because he didn't want to be by himself. I know Mineta, which kind of falls under the radar, but whatever. I find it weird for him in general. He decided to go out on his own on a whim, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him, which I find funny because that's kind of real. sometimes you have an idea of what you want to do outside of high school and then it doesn't work out. But I'm kind of finding it funny that they decided to do that to him instead. But yeah, like to me, it's like I don't need to 100% be told. Now, I will say the one thing I would love to be told is if they're dating, because I know that somewhere in the epilogue they confirm that, but they don't confirm it here. And it seems like they did the exact same thing that they did in the manga, Horikoshi did in the manga, where they don't confirm anything about their relationship. But apparently in the epilogue that I never seen, they apparently confirm the relationship with each other and they start dating. So I don't know where I guess to me it sounds like.
Are you okay?
Oh, sorry, no, just a notification from the podcast going live just popped up. I don't know why it did that to me. But like I don't know why Horikoshi or the anime decides to not do anything confirming with that, because most in anime, if they have like a power couple like that, they typically confirm at the end of the episode that they are together, or they do it in a movie, which Naruto and Naruto Shippuden did twice over. They kind of overkilled it, but they didn't do that here. And I will say I'm really disappointed that they didn't, but I'm guessing the OVA is, if there is an OVA, which you told me that you heard there was. I'm constantly hearing there's an OVA. I've even went on a Reddit, and there are people who are not even convinced that there's an OVA, but if they say that it makes sense that they do have one. So like it sounds like there's word around going out there that might be an original video animation at some point. But I feel like if there was ever going to be confirmation of their relationship, it would be in that one. It would be there because maybe Horikoshi doesn't think love confirmation is appropriate for the show, even though he kind of had Uraraka kind of fall for him in the manga. Whatever, not going to go into that. But maybe that's where a lot of confirmations for other characters kind of come from. Apparently there was a short I kind of read up on too that was talking about Uraraka after everything, and they made mention of her business and how she was like overworking herself. So I don't know if any of that's. I mean, it looked like official art. It didn't look like it was a fan made thing. So I never read the epilogue, and based on what happens next weekend, I might end up going to read the epilogue just to save my interest in what's going on there. Might go and buy the manga book that has that in there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, would it be cool that they started like, yeah, but apparently, I mean, that's one of the things that people had a problem was that with the, their relationship was ambiguous. Though apparently was thinking that he wasn't a huge fan of it because like there are mangas where fans pair up characters, but the creator doesn't like that pairing for whatever reason. One particular show I can think of right now that happened was in Fairy Tail. That creator, for whatever reason, and this is like one thing I think was what caused the pairing in the first place. That creator had these two characters like kind of like double teaming against villains a lot in the show, and they kind of both seem to synergize really well with each other. Like they seem to know each other's thoughts and whatever, and they seem to really like being around each other. And they kind of got into really weird, really perverted situations sometimes, where she was kind of like, there was a point early on in the show where every time he did an attack, if she was nearby, her clothes would get cinched, and she ended up naked. And like, pretty much, she got a chance to see her naked body a lot throughout the show. Like, it got to the point where he wasn't caught off guard anymore, and he just kind of looked at her. And I think he made a comment that she may have been getting fat, and she kind of threw him out the window. But I'm just saying, like, it happened enough times where it just, to me, was like, it made sense, and a lot of people liked the pairing. But then I find out that the creator doesn't like the pairing at all, thinks it's bad, and it's never gonna happen. But that was like one pairing. There's another pairing the fandom made that apparently got confirmed to be true at the end of the freaking show. So it's just one of those things where I always thought maybe Horikoshi just didn't want to be vocal about him not liking this pairing. But based on what I'm hearing, they do confirm dating at some point. So it's like, okay, apparently that's not the case. Maybe he just literally wasn't thinking about it. Like the thing with Deku's father. Because apparently he said he completely forgot about him, which is like why he wasn't shown at all in the manga. He completely forgot about him.
Okay.
So there are things he's forgotten about. But I don't know. I mean, back to the whole, like, them confirming. To me, it's like I highly doubt that Araka stopped talking. My thing is, like, he's a teacher, he's a civilian. He really, at this point, at the beginning of the show, he's a civilian. He doesn't have, like, she's a hero. Not saying that she would be seen caught dead with him, but it's like there's no real reasoning other than maybe saving him. She would have any real direct contact with him. Not until later on when he gets his suit. But like, then she's seen there in the background with everybody else. Bakugo with his hand out, like, come, let's go, Deku, as they go off and they'll be heroes. But like I said, to me, it's like I can forgive that. I mean, I don't think she cut off ties with him. I find that difficult for me, at least in my mind, and the way her character operates, that she would completely cut ties with people. She probably hasn't had a lot of time. If she's been overworking herself, then that completely explains why, probably, if they haven't talked in a couple of months. That's probably why, because she's been overworking herself.
I mean, okay. It's going to be a really simple response to about 6 minutes of straight talking, but it doesn't have to be a relationship. I just like to know that they stayed close.
Again, what I said doesn't really change. Just mainly just because, like, she's overworked. If she is, in fact, I'm not saying this is fact or I'm just,
why would she be overworked? Like, things are kind of chill.
Her agency, apparently, again, this is just from that short I saw. Her court counseling service is what she was doing. I completely wasn't able to read all that because they were talking really fast. I should have went back and reread that, but apparently she has a court counseling service which is taken off, and apparently they're going international. So she might just be overworking herself in general by, being hands-on with whatever she's doing there, and not really, again, her being selfless to a point of self-denial, not really taking care of herself. And I would say talking with friends would be a part of self-care, allowing her to relax. And maybe she's, again, Deku isn't, like, really, he isn't a part of hero society anymore right now, all the way up to the end of the show where he gets his suit again. But up to that point, like, he wouldn't be a part of, like, and again, I'm not saying she's ignoring or completely forgot him. Just, like, to me, it's like how would a hero, and a famous one at that, stay in contact with somebody who isn't a hero anymore, currently at this point in their lives? Like, he apparently must have told her that he's a teacher. But it's also possible, considering that she's still busy. It's not like saving people is their only thing heroes do. They have other things too. And some of these people have, like, other types of jobs. Jiro and Kaminari, I think, are like bandmates. I think. I'm guessing Ida's probably got something going on with his brother's organization. Seems like Shoto Todoroki is keeping up appearances with, like, going to elementary schools. I think, Uraraka and Furaki were doing the exact same thing. So she's probably going to a lot of elementary schools, keeping up with children or whatnot. Again, like, her doing that, like, Deku doesn't teach elementary, he teaches high school. So, like, like, even with that, it's like she wouldn't run into him randomly. And, like, I'm pretty sure Deku wouldn't want to, like, bother her, considering that, she's a hero. And I highly doubt that she like, completely isn't talking to him. Like, I know you're concerned that she is, like, because he hasn't said anything. But to me, it's like, I don't think they need to really say that. I think you can inherently think that, because, like, I highly doubt with the character that she's been displayed to have, that would completely go against it if she completely stopped talking to him. She's like,
I know. I don't think she completely stopped talking. I get the logic. I just wanted to hear how it worked out. Like, here's my big criticism of how the series ended. And I know I'm jumping the gun. I was going to save this for later, but it's so prevalent right now that I want to throw it out there. I was not as into the dark parts of the series as you might have been. And it got real dark and stayed real dark for a real long time. But I believed in the series and the optimistic tone that it started out with, and the promise that they would become the greatest heroes of all time. So I was bought in. And I was like, I don't like this part of the series as much. I'm not as into it as much as the other stuff. But I'm in here because I want to see the happy ending that I've been promised. Like, it's been promised all along that no matter how dark this gets, the heroes are going to be the greatest heroes of all time, which made me believe that, like, they were going to win, which they did. And I kind of put a lot of work into earning the right to see everybody win at the end and to see the happy ending. And then the happy ending was kind of short. Like, they finished the fight and then they kind of rushed and tried to frantically, like, show as many of this too many characters endings as they possibly could. And we saw, like, sometimes it was sort of, I'm going to use a nice word, I'm going to say it was very organic. Like, they picked characters, like, sometimes, like, kind of everywhere, you know what I mean? They picked a little bit of everything to put in there, but they did it at the cost of really spending the amount of time on the characters I was emotionally invested in as I would have liked. And you've heard me mention Lemillion, for example, and Uraraka was another one where I kind of wanted I wanted more Uraraka, I wanted more Lemillion, and a variety of other characters that I was emotionally invested in from previous storylines that they kind of allowed to fall to the wayside. And then they dug up characters that were kind of like really obscure, not really obscure, I won't say, that's unfair, but they pulled up characters that, like, I wasn't as invested in, or that, like, hang on, Monoma, for example, Nato Monoma, like, who I really didn't care that much about, like, got lots of, like, he was in all 3 of the last episodes. And there was some stuff like that I just felt like I was like, oh, okay, yeah, here he is. He's still an egotistical jerk. You got a statue, okay, and I was like, let's move on. I want to see, like, what's going. We're running out of time. I want to see what's going on with the other characters. And then I was even kind of annoyed. I was at the point where I was a little bit annoyed with the joke where they're like, so why are we still telling the story? And they're like, because there's still runtime on the episode. And I'm like, no, there's only that much time left. It's not like extra time. Like, you've got a very small amount of time left to tell me more about, like, the characters I care about. And, like, we haven't really gotten to them 100%. And, like, I don't know. I was really into how compatible the two people were, how compatible Uraraka and Deku were. And I didn't need them to be in a romantic relationship, but I wanted to see, like, a little bit more of how much they meant to each other. And when they did have the moment, they dragged everybody in as soon as possible to include them in the story. And I was like, no, go away. Like, I want to see them together and see how they feel about each other, So I don't know. Like, I don't know if you agree or not, and you don't have to. It's a matter of opinion. But, like, I wanted more stuff like that.
I think everybody that showed for me was like what I got what I wanted. But the character, I guess the characters that you cared about weren't characters that as like I was caring 100% about. I mean, we had some overlap with Uraraka and stuff like that. But for me, it's like you're talking about like more.
Lemillion was a favorite of yours. You can't say he wasn't.
I said there was some overlap. I didn't say there was no overlap.
I don't know. We often, and this is coming from some of the jokes all the time about how we disagree. Like, we often liked the same characters.
But no, what I'm saying is, like, I feel like, to me, it's like I got what I needed. To me, like, some of them, I got as much as I was like that I personally needed. So I'm used to shows ending in a certain way anyway, and this seems just like the kind of format, because everybody else that you keep on hearing, they also watch other anime too, so we know kind of what's gonna happen. Now some shows end differently, some shows, and again, you don't like the dark parts, and it's like I'm not like the biggest. I wasn't all that enthralled. But at the same time, for me, it's like I feel like this is realistic, that there was going to be some dark times within the Hero Society.
It was more, just to clarify, I'm not going to interrupt you too much, but just to clarify, it was more darkness than I cared for. I do like dark parts, but it was more dark. It was a lot of darkness. I found myself wishing for a little bit more light.
I feel like this was I mean, again, we agree to disagree in this one, but it's like, I feel like this was the right amount, considering that they were kind of hinting at that there was a darker underbelly. they completely consistently hinted at this beyond season 1. After All Might was slowly declining, and then we finally really went into that when All Might finally had to retire. And I think that's part of the reason why they did it, is because like All Might was the one keeping the underbelly under control. But yeah, I mean, yeah, was it dark? Yeah, because I feel like it was realistic enough to the point where it's like, okay, it's clear that there's to be a problem with the Hero Society. Wait, they even bring it up in this episode with Hawks and All Might talking about like keeping the hero ranking system, but apparently opening it up more to other heroes, so that way like they got more heroes to call upon. Apparently that's how they were doing that, was calling on top heroes. I'm guessing is what they were doing. It wasn't aware that was how they were doing it, but apparently that's what they were doing. Like Hawk said, like he had the idea of like opening up to more non-professional heroes, so that way they have more people to call upon. Which I think is like both you and me agreed back when they introduced the idea that apparently heroes needed a license to do anything. How kind of dumb that was. How kind of restrictive, I should say dumb, but how restrictive that was. We didn't really talk about it, but I think maybe I shouldn't say we. I thought it was kind of weird that they had a license system for heroes. I thought maybe it was a lot more free roam than I thought it was, but that was like a lot stricter of a thing, and also kind of hinted at another problem within Hero Society. Some with Hawk saying that he wants to open it up makes it interesting too. And also with I did read the chat GTP thing you sent about like hero ranking. I thought they said all those rules, but maybe I'm wrong because I don't remember some of that. But how each hero gets ranked and how they end up on the ranking board. And speaking of Lemillion, they did mention Lemillion was #1. Like, and he showed him his dumb pompadour look, which I guess is kind of like him, but it was still a dumb look. But we saw Lemillion as #1. I think. Back bouncing a little around, like I think we saw Compress Man, and I almost say I think because
it was Compress reading the book. Yeah,
I did not know that was him.
I only knew because someone said it in Reddit. What threw me off about it to me was that not only that, but like it looked like he had a second hand. If you look carefully, I think that's his toes in the still, but like if you had a glance, it looks like he has both arms, and we know that he lost an arm. So I went back and like looked at that, and I was like, wait a minute, because I put in my notes who was reading the book. He's at 728 when he reads it, and then they said, oh, it's Compression Man. And I'm like, well, that makes sense because we've been talking ourselves about how we were wondering if he would be in there, but if you go in there and you look carefully enough, I'm pretty sure that's his toes and not his left arm.
I believe you. I'm not all that hard set and trying to figure out that small detail. I didn't even know he lost an arm. I don't know why I don't remember that.
He lost it during his fight. It got compressed or something like that. I forgot. But I remember he was at first, because I had to look it up to see what he was injured at, because I thought he lost both arms, and then I thought that, and I was like, wait a minute, Overhaul lost both arms, and that sounds weird. And then I looked it up, and then I was like, oh yeah, he just lost one arm.
But yeah, you would rather have them tell in the show. I think they do that, leave it up in ambiguity so fans can have something to think about, because sometimes they like to leave things up in the air for fans to be the one to debate over.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, to me, I said this before. I said this a long time ago, that I think like My Hero, the world is really ripe for different stories, and I even said fan fiction. I suspect that like there's gonna be a lot of fanfic written if there already hasn't, because the manga ended I think a year or so ago, and now the show's over. There's no reason why fanfic can't exist now. But like, yeah, for me, it was a lot of things with this show in general that I liked. And some of the stuff I didn't like. I don't think there's anything in the show. I guess we can talk about the suit really quick, at least on my end. I know you got notes about that.
The suit?
Yeah, the Deku suit.
Okay.
I just want to just ramble a little bit, but like, I like kind of how at the very beginning of the episode that we see the backstory, a little bit of background on Deku, and we see that, you know, Bakugo being a punk kid and beating up Deku, trying to prevent him from becoming a hero. I love that, like, now in the future, Bakugo is one of the forerunners in trying to get Deku back into hero work. And I just love that he was the one that apparently, according to All Might, spearheaded the research into making Deku's suit. All Might says that, like, apparently young Bakugo was one of the spearheads behind it. I thought that was kind of cool. It was kind of like a Bakugo trying to make up for, I guess, all the damage he's done to Deku, and I guess the additional damage that he feels like he's responsible for, with Deku losing his quirk.
Mm-hmm.
We can't forget that Bakugo still feels like he's responsible for Deku losing his quirk, and I'm pretty sure he still feels responsible for All Might losing his, even though, you know, that was just what was going to happen when delivering quirks to different people. I thought somebody would have at least tried to, like, comfort Bakugo and saying that it wasn't his fault, but apparently no one did that. They just wanted him to feel bad.
Yeah.
But, like, I just love that, you know, beginning of the show, Bakugo was trying to prevent Deku from becoming a hero, and now he's doing everything in his power in the future to make sure that he can be a hero. I thought that was freaking cool. It was like the 180 that Bakugo had kind of went under this entire show was awesome.
So what was the 180? Can you summarize that?
Bakugo going from wanting Deku to not be a hero and doing everything in his power at the very beginning of the show to prevent him.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, now where it's like he's doing everything in his power to help Deku become a hero, or go back to being a hero, I should say. I just like that, how that those two ends booked this entire show, and it was like it began with Bakugo being mean to Bakugo actually being somewhat nice.
Couple funny things there too. One of them is at one point Bakugo suggested that Deku would join his agency, and according to Reddit, if that's true, then he sort of technically, like, asked Deku to be his sidekick, which is kind of funny.
I mean, well,
I'm listening.
I'm sorry. You had a thought. I'm stupid. Continue.
You're not stupid. The other thing is, there was a moment where they do a flashback with Bakugo at 5 minutes in exactly, where Deku is sticking up for somebody that Bakugo was trying to bully. And I found that interesting. That to me was new information. I didn't know that Bakugo was bullying anybody else. For some reason, I always thought he was just bullying Deku, but, like, that was evidence that he might have been bullying other people too.
Well, that wasn't new information. That scene was in the very beginning of the show.
Oh, was it? It just never occurred to me that Bakugo was a bully in general. I thought he was just a bully to Deku specifically.
I've always taken that Bakugo was bullying. I will say I always thought Bakugo was, because I remember seeing that scene, but I don't remember ever thinking that Bakugo was bullying that kid. Granted, I will say this much: obviously he was bullying that kid because that's what bullying is. But moving on from that, but I always like you said before, I've always kind of connected Bakugo bullying Deku. Like that's where I always made that connection for the bullying. But yeah, I never thought too much about him bullying other people. But I think what it was, like, I think maybe that was the moment that Bakugo shifted all his bullying to Deku.
Yeah.
Because basically during that one scene as kids, he's like, "You think you can stop me without a quirk?" And Deku's sitting there like, "I'm gonna stand up to you." And then he gets knocked flat in his behind. Which I want to bring up too, if you really look at Deku after that incident, nothing on Deku seems to be singed at all. I think, like, the only thing on him that may look dirty is the boots, but of course the boots are on the ground, so of course there'd be dirt on them. But I remember looking at that scene, like, it doesn't look like Bakugo did anything to him. What happened? Not even like a fist mark was on Deku's face. It just seemed kind of interesting that I don't know if that was like an animation error or what. Cause like I thought maybe he had hurt him, but maybe that's why Deku always hung around with him, was like Bakugo never seemed to. Even though it looked like he was abusing him, it never seemed like it left anything on Deku, which is weird. It didn't seem like Bakugo ever did any physical harm. I mean, you just kind of bullying him, like pushing him, whatever, like that, but, you know, not physically harming him.
Yeah,
which is always weird. But yeah, if that was the case, then I guess I could see it. again, I mean it's funny as Bakugo making him a sidekick, which kind of is in line with his character. Uh, I think honestly that was just more of him again taking responsibility for Deku. You know, and the whole him not having a quirk anymore.
Hmm.
That's just how I'm gonna take it. I mean, now again, him making Deku a psychic kind of is in line with his character, though it's only really in line with his character post kidnapping. After that, he started going through significant changes, so there's probably more meaning behind Bakugo uh, getting Deku in his agency. Which I guess another thing too is I didn't know if that was true. I didn't know Bakugo had an agency. I guess it makes sense considering that he's on his own. And we see that apparently his rank is apparently, at least in the episode, we see that apparently he might get his rank demoted even further, but apparently he had been already demoted several times before for his
Yeah.
abrasiveness. And again, I still find that funny, but it's also in line with who he is. And a part of me kind of is thinking this is thinking 4D chess, but a part of me thinking I think Bakugo was acting like that, and he's doing it on purpose because he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to gain #1 status while first proving that he's better than Deku.
Oh, I think he's just a little. I think he's just got personality problems.
You say that, but his personality at the end of the freaking show, like as a kid, seemed like it gotten better. I don't know if it's really personality problems. Like at least part of me, I'm willing. I want to believe. I guess it's the best way to put it. I want to believe that maybe it's because he doesn't. He you know, because before he was really upset that Deku was out of the running, and he wasn't able to fight with him over #1. And like like without Deku, there probably isn't any real challenge for him other than Todoroki. But according to them, Shoto was like #8, what I thought was kind of low for him. But maybe he's okay with that. I don't know. But I just think it's like maybe like a part of me was like thinking like maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe he's being rude on purpose because like he doesn't want to be in the running without Deku there. To
Mhm.
me, I don't think that's unbelievable. I mean, like if you're a Bakugo and you thought you were going to spend your entire life fighting for a spot on the billboards with Deku, only to find out that your rival is out of the running now because he doesn't have a power anymore, and you feel responsible. Like, wouldn't you do that exact same thing, prevent yourself from getting up there?
Uh,
It's not like Bakugo isn't successful. It sounds like he's really successful and he's got fans. Like Kirishima does too. It's like I highly doubt that he's hurting for money. And if he's got an agency, I mean,
yeah, but he looks like he like in the video that he showed. It looks like he not only was he swearing and screaming at people, but it looks like he also set something on fire. And like, does he want this so bad he's willing to like set buildings on fire and shit? That doesn't speak any better to him than like the alternative.
I saw that, but apart from I only thought about this at the last minute. It was like, I don't know, because like, to me, it's like, would Bakugo really want to fight for #1 without Deku there? Because he seemed really upset that Deku wasn't going to be there. I mean, he's been
Mhm.
apparently again. Speaking of this whole thing, Bakugo not wanting to be there. I mean, he's the one. Apparently, like he's not the only one, but he's like, apparently, according to All Might, he was the one that spearheaded the research necessary to give Deku his superhero suit. So, like and he was he was part of the group that donated money, and apparently he got other people to help donate too, which is also interesting too. The other people, not just Bakugo, donated to give Deku a suit to help him continue. To me, it's like I don't know. For me, it's like I'm willing to believe, even if that's not the case, I'm willing to believe that maybe Bakugo isn't wanting to fight for this without Deku being in the running. Kind of like how
Uh-huh.
Endeavor kind of got #1 after All Might, but he only got it because All Might retired, and Endeavor was fighting with that the entire time as #1. Him never feeling like he deserved it. Mark would argue he doesn't. We're not gonna get into that, but I feel like maybe like that is like the best thing about him. I mean, also, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Bakugo hasn't shown to be abrasive, but it's like that's just a part of who he is. And again, I say some people will say he wants they would rather him change that. For me, it's like I don't know. I don't think I would enjoy Bakugo the same way if he wasn't as like I wouldn't say crass. I mean, I could probably enjoy him less crass, but if he wasn't as crazy as he seemed to be,
Yeah.
to me, I think that's what makes that character work. If he was calm and even tempered, I think it'd be weird. Gotta get used to it, yeah, but like I think that would be really weird. I think that's kind of why he spent, like, why he is always seems to be like on pins and needles, and it is a explosive can. You know, basically his quirk is also explosion. If we are to believe that, you know, quirks do have somewhat of a connection to your personality, it makes sense. You know, the way he is. As for that fire, I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny because, like, he was yelling at that guy to get him away from getting hurt. I know the yelling was probably not a good look, but I mean, but Eraserhead and, like, apparently Best Genius are still on him and trying to get him to be better.
It was kind of sad to see like an older looking Best Genius. Unless it's my imagination, he looked a little bit like wrinkled and 50 years old in that shot.
His jeans had a crease,
so to speak. He looked a little older, and I was like, oh, yeah, they were a little
worn.
A little worn, yeah, a little worn. That's the word I was about to say.
I think that was on purpose, though. Gordon, he's a G guy. Like, you were talking about people looking older. Oh my god.
I know. I do have to say, like, Best Genius did age well. He has really good genes.
Damn it! I hate you. What the heck? No, no. And I can't end the
Some people get around that age and they look a little threadbare, and he didn't. You know.
Oh no. We're moving on. Okay, back to All Might real quick. I just want to point out that I wasn't expecting All Might to look any older than he did.
Anyone that makes puns this bad should be drawn and corduroyed, huh? You don't know about drawn and quartered. Okay, you do know about drawn and quartered. Yes. I'm having a fantastic life right now.
It's hell. I think you're holding under all these gene puns for some reason. I don't know why. But,
it's just built into me. It's like the type of person I am. It's like my genus.
But All Might really quick, because I was trying to get out. Like, he looked older, and when I saw that, I was like, "Good lord!" I didn't think he could look any older. It's like, yeah, they got him because he's got wrinkles, and I'm like, "Good lord!" Like, and I'm actually kind of curious, what is he doing now? Because, like, we saw him working with Hawks talking with Hawks, I should say. Other than that, I don't know what else he's doing. And then he shows up. Apparently, he was at an airport, so I'm guessing he was going to go pick up the suit from Melissa, that girl from the second movie. I think is the second movie, or no, it was the first movie. The first movie, where Deku got that gauntlet that helped him use One for All without hurting himself. But, like, you know, it was interesting to see that All Might was still running around, and apparently told Deku that, you know, I'm giving you this suit, but I'm also gonna have you use it to gather up information on, like, villains and stuff like that, and also feed information about how you fight these heroes too. But I thought it was interesting because now it seems like, I guess this was a really weird storyline they were kind of building in that wasn't really a storyline, at least not until recently. The idea of, like, support items getting better and getting better enough that they're capable of helping heroes. Because, like, if you remember correctly, in the very first season, I think, or second season, I think Deku brings up, like, or was it in the movie? I forgot which word what was brought up, but, like, Deku brings up, like, why doesn't All Might use support items? And All Might brings the fact that he's just too dang strong, and support items aren't good enough for him to depend on, so he doesn't even like using them. And I think he even brings up that, you know, Deku shouldn't rely on them either because it's a dangerous situation in case a support item doesn't work. But I wasn't really thinking too much about it when he said all that information, but I guess it was an interesting insight into, at the time, support item core wasn't really great, and they weren't really helpful to heroes at the time either. And now, like, when we look at that information back then and literally all right now, I mean, All Might was able to fight All For One in a full freaking support item and, like, do some actual damage to them. And, like, it seemed like it took you know, inspiration from Melissa. Mei Hatsume was apparently the one who worked on Deku's suit, which I thought was kind of cool. So she had a hand, and I guess that suit being one of her babies. I'm wondering if he's gonna kill Deku at some point, but maybe not. But I thought it was just kind of cool that, you know, it seems like the support ass. I mean, even, like, we saw the new children. I guess I could bring this up because I've been going all over it. This episode, we saw a new kid, a new character. Apparently, we scoot Deku because this was never it was never said. But that kid's quirk is the circles on his hair. He can like pull them off his head and then toss them. So in a similar vein to Anetta's quirk. But it was kind of cool that we had this extra character. I mean, yeah, it was annoying probably for the most part because why we get this character, we don't need him. But I thought it was kind of cool that I think his name was Dai. We saw him in middle school. Students about to go into high school, and they're trying to figure out where they want to go. Some of them they all want to go into hero work, but some of them are wanting to either be in support items, helping make support items for heroes. Somebody wants to be a doctor, like one of the doctors that was helping out the heroes when they got hurt. And then a few of them wanted to be heroes, and Dai apparently wanted to be one. He was being made fun of by another classmate, very reminiscent of how Deku was feeling with Bakugo back in the day. And then we see him walking, and he's apparently he walks to the statue of All Might, is the statue of All Might, and he's apparently being there makes him makes him feel at ease. And he even brings up I wonder if I'll ever meet Deku. I thought that was kind of cool that he's in front of All Might statue, but he's thinking of Midoriya. And I thought it was cool. Oh, Deku's got a person that knows him by name. And then Deku shows up after some kid trips trying to perform Unbreakable Kirishima, who apparently was having a live fight on a TV screen in the middle of the air. And I thought that was really cool that Kirishima getting some spotlight. And I do like that we see that Kirishima's working. Basically Deku save a kid, and the other kid fails to do so, kind of like he did back when he was a child. And he helps the kid up, and he has a talk with him, finds out that he wants to be a hero. And then he asks him can I ever be a hero like you? And then Deku has a flashback of that question, of him asking that question to All Might. And he just has this epiphany of thanks to All Might, I was able to get my dream. Now it's time for me to pass on that hope to somebody else. And he gives that hope to that little kid, and I'm that was awesome. That was a full circle moment in my opinion of I love that Deku was able to pass that on after getting that from somebody else. Not even knowing this kid's life or this kid's setbacks, just gave him hope to pursue that dream.
Did he really give him hope, or did he get distracted by his power and talking about it? Because you didn't actually see him do anything for the kid. In fact, the kid is not even sure he's trying to help him.
That was before. After that, he kind of asked him can a person like me be a hero? He asked Deku that, and Deku already says that yes, you can. But after Deku has his flashback of him talking to All Might, but again, it's Deku has the ability to give that hope to somebody else. Regardless if Dai does anything with it, that doesn't really matter. It's just that Deku was able to give that hope to somebody else. He pretty much told him that you can be a hero, young man. Basically imitating All Might. Ironically, he's also in a suit. At the same time, talking to the kid. I thought that was kind of cool because I saw that moment. We also get a chance to see apparently where the other characters are. Apparently Shinzo and Tokiyami are now undercover heroes. So I thought that was kind of cool, on the ground in the darkness, like Batman. I thought it was also weird that apparently Tokiyami and Invisible Girl have a fragrance line. I understand Invisible Girl but she's pretty. And I suspect when she got older, she got hot. But Tokiyami was really weird. I was why does Tokiyami have a cologne line? What happened? Weird things. Hiroshima had a calendar line that sold out immediately.
Yeah, that was an odd little line.
I was what happened?
That must have pissed off Grape. When the day that Grape found that out, he must have been so pissed off.
No, he was more so that I don't know who he was pissed off at.
No. I mean, they show him pissed off for other specific things, but I mean, off-screen headcanon, finding out that his calendar sold out immediately, the day Grape found that out, it must have gone straight up his butt.
I know you don't really have a like or dislike for Grape. I dislike, and neither do I. I just feel kind of bad for him because he doesn't. Other characters.
I felt bad for him in this episode because he went so far with his personality to redeem himself and improve himself, and then like he's just thoroughly shafted. Like he can't even get his diploma. He has to stand on 2 grapes just to be tall enough to get his diploma. Even the little mouse like was able to get up that high, but like he's like standing on 2 grapes to make it work. And I did feel a little bad at that. I was like, oh, everything is so demeaning for him now. Like he lives a life of like being kind of crapped on.
What I
And
don't understand.
he's also like the only one that didn't make it to the top 100 heroes. He's like 106 or something, which I guess is a joke. I read, but like,
Oh wait, there was the ranking for him. I didn't know he had a ranking.
yeah, I wish I'd saved the post. There was a post where someone had done the research and found out all the rankings for everybody, and
But yeah, I mean, I wanted so much hope. But what I don't completely understand, and I guess this is kind of just goes to his character, his personality. If you read what he did after high school, he apparently went independent on a whim. So he didn't really have a plan for what he was doing out of high school. That was a bad decision. He should have like hung out with somebody. I mean, I know he probably didn't want to be someone's sidekick, but I feel like he would have done better if he was somebody's like being Ashido's sidekick. Because I don't think Ashido has a sidekick. Ashido's also being a hero.
it
And also,
sounded like he didn't start out as a. I think he started out as a sidekick, and then he was 106, and there was something like specific, a joke about his stat, like that it was an inside joke, a meta joke, or something like that. My Hero Academia. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, and I'm sorry I keep interrupting you.
I had to come in and do that to you all the dang time. I think I was doing it to you the entire time reviewing the show. But yeah, I just don't like. I feel like I saw that he went independent on a whim, and that struck me as odd. Like that definitely struck me as odd as to why he would go independent on a whim like that. Because it sounds like he didn't have popularity before he did that. So if he was a sidekick, I can't imagine whose sidekick he would have been. Maybe Oraka, cause I feel like she'd feel bad for him. Feel bad for him enough.
It wouldn't even have to be one of the 1As. He could have just been some other person's sidekick.
I guess that's true, but I'm trying to be optimistic here.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, even somebody like Kaminari, I feel like Kaminari could have went off and been his own man, but he decided not to. He wanted to hang out with Jiro and build an entire like electric generation plant right next to her studio, which I thought was kind of funny. But like Kaminari just doesn't have enough self-esteem to be on his own, apparently. Which I guess makes sense because that's how he was the entire show. He didn't really have faith in himself. And then Jiro, which I was apparently this was everywhere with her character. And I guess I just didn't remember seeing it. She wanted to be a musician and a hero, so she got a chance to do that because she made her own recording agency. And now she's also doing hero work on the side. And I saw that Eri got a chance to be there and sing a song. We saw Eri as an older girl, what I thought was cute. We saw Coda nearly at the beginning of the episode talking to Midoriya. I thought that was freaking awesome. I was like, oh, he's here. He made it to UA, and he's older. Good lord, he got a girl spurts.
Okay, so the number 108, Mineta was ranked number 108. And according to ChatGPT, the number 108 is a Japanese pervert joke like we have for like 69.
I can see that.
So it's a joke, and it looks like it gets into detail, but like 108 is the number of earthly desires in Buddhism. And bells are rung 108 times on New Year's to cleanse sinful desires. So like it's a dirty number for Japan, and that's his hero ranking. But he's the only one that didn't make the top 100. That was that, other than sidekicks, because sidekicks didn't get a ranking. Sorry.
That's a problem. I'm trying to think, how many sidekicks? Because I know like, some people, Froppy wasn't a sidekick. Actually, they said that Froppy and Uraka went off on their own after being sidekicks, and they did their own thing. Apparently, Froppy's her own hero too, based off of like what they said. But it's just like Froppy hangs out with Uraka, and she helps out with her apparently, and with Uraka's business. Uh,
And Mineta was never a sidekick.
it was which makes you think, because like when he went off on his own on a whim is what they say. Now I'm pretty sure there's probably more to that whim than they're letting on in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
But they say he went off on a whim. I can only assume he thought he could get more chicks on his own, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him because he's also a creep.
He didn't get chicks, period. Like, he didn't even get, like, a coffee date.
I know you.
He's got like friction burns from being swiped so many times on Tinder. Like, he's like,
Okay, we can stop burning Mineta. We can stop burning Mineta. We can let him. We can let him be. My goodness, jeez, how many of these jokes do you have on tap? No, don't answer that question.
there's like dents in the curbs all over the city he lives in from him being kicked to them.
Poor Mineta, just poor Mineta. But oh yeah, speaking of heroes, I forgot to even bring this up because I completely forgot about them. Shoji and Koda, apparently they made some headways in heteromorphs, and I guess like discrimination basically with people who look different. I thought that was kind of cool. He even like Shoji got an award for that. Like apparently like they gave him an award on the stage. I don't even know what number Shoji is. I didn't know every single one of the 1A got a freaking like ranking, so I'm glad you let me know that. I was not aware of that. I'm probably needs to look into that. But I know some of them gave it like, I don't even know where Bakugo is, because he kept talking about like every time he was doing something he went down a rank. So I can only assume he's like lower than Todoroki. But maybe not, I had no idea. The Shoto being ranked 8 just seems kind of low for me, but I'm guessing there might be a reason behind that. I guess also he's also shaking the Endeavor name, which is kind of cool. It means his father was able to keep his word. Keep all the damage that he was doing to himself. I guess also speaking of that, did you think, based on the way they were talking about Toya, that Toya was gonna die in the next year? Apparently he's still alive 8 years later. I thought like Dabi was gonna die immediately after or something like that, or he was definitely gonna die within a year. The fact that he was still alive 8 years later was kind of shocking. I think they show Endeavor looking at him and talking to him as in a random scene in this episode. I'm probably wrong, but I thought I saw a scene where they showed him talking to Dabi later on. But like it looked like Dabi was still around and still alive, but barely. I thought Dabi would have died within 8 years. It was like every time they kept him saying that he was close to death, he broke expectations, but it just seems ridiculous. He's like nothing but skin and bones now. How is he still around? Unconscious. I guess got hurt. But yeah, I think I said everything I could say. Like this show is really great. It definitely is in top 5 for me, and I really enjoy it. I think I'm gonna find myself watching the show again. I'm not entirely sure when, but I feel like when I finally miss it enough, I'll definitely go back and rewatch it.
What show? Oh,
My Hero
My
Academia.
Hero?
Yeah. I feel there'll come a time where I will rewatch it. I think it's also too. This show's kind of like a superhero show made in Japan. Like this to me is like a good this is a good way for me to indulge in superheroes, but also watch an anime. Though thanks to My Hero Academia, there are a lot more superhero shows. It's like there's like an explosion. Like I think I now see superhero shows every now and then just pop up out of nowhere. This was not the case before My Hero came along, or even One Punch Man for that matter. These two shows like gave birth to a whole different genre of shows that pop up. I think after My Hero, watching My Hero, I saw another show called, I think it's called Shyness, I think, or superhero show. I forgot the name of it, but the main character's name is Shy. But apparently it's a superhero show, and I'm like, I really haven't been watching it, but I was like, maybe I can give that show a watch at some point. But anything in your notes, good sir? Any feelings you want to get off your chest?
I've got 2 pages. I've got 2 pages of notes. Here, I'll go through. I'm gonna have to go through quickly, even though we have a whole hour. Do we know if All Might ever gets out of the wheelchair and becomes normally functioning human body-wise?
Do you not remember him giving Deku the suit?
Oh yeah. Okay. Stupid question. I know this is an obvious thing, and he's had them for a few episodes, but I liked that he has normal eyes again. At the beginning of the episode, around 30 seconds, like they're particularly bright and clear and big and like normal looking, and I appreciated that like little nod towards the fact that he's kind of back online. Terremoto looks like a cocaine or a meth addict. That's the guy with the purple mist that gets saved early in the series.
Oh.
His name is Terremoto. Terumoto. At 120, the faces of those people, like his family, look like blackface. How did you feel about that?
I didn't notice that at all.
You didn't?
Oh.
Look at 120 exactly.
That was his family?
Yeah.
It looks white.
It looks like they're all in blackface, like the artwork style.
It looked white to me.
Oh, you're not looking at the right place if you feel that way.
I'm not looking for racism big videos when I'm watching a show.
Let me mute this. Sorry, I didn't mute my channel. It's definitely at 120.
Not saying you were looking for a racism big video. I just wasn't. I'm like, when I'm watching a show, I'm never watching out for something that looks racist.
Their faces are black, and then their eyes are like white dots, and their hair is white for the most part, and then like one of the guys' mouths looks white, but like the other two look like they have blackface lips. It's really awkward. How did he eat with his mouth stitched shut? And why wasn't, once he was escaped from that situation, why wasn't his family just completely ruined? Like, if you ever found out that like they had this kid like with his lips sewn shut and like trapped in a in a straitjacket in the basement for all that time, I feel like I wanted to know about how the family got destroyed for doing that.
The family was dead, wasn't it? He was the only one that survived.
From what? What am I missing?
From the building that was on top of them.
The building fell.
I thought that building was destroyed, wasn't it? And
Okay. Okay, and then he went free. Okay, that explains that. Oh, hang on. Cool to see the same woman that failed Shigaraki in the past succeeds here. It was a nice little nod because like a lot of the stuff in the last episodes is like been very like implying that life just goes on and that like people didn't change or anything like that. So it was nice to see like a little hint that like people did change a little, at least in Japan. You know what I mean? Like we don't have an indication. It sounds like the US is still full of jackasses but in this world, but like it was nice to see that things go differently and everybody surrounds him and like wants to be kind to him. It showed that the heroes did save more than this, specifically the spirits and lives of the people they saved, like that they also sort of saved like the soul of the country a little bit too, you know.
Really quick on the people you're saying they were blackface.
It looks I know it's not blackface, but it looked very blackface like.
I don't think they were blackface. I just took, I think what it was when I looked at them, my brain took it as they were just faceless evil, considering that they were using, because like blackface typically, and now I understand blackface, they usually do cover their face in an actual black paint versus a brown paint, which is really weird. I want to point that out. That I don't know why blackface evolved to that. I'm not here to argue the legitimacy of what they decided to do. I'm just saying I did find that really weird that blackface in Japan they used black paint instead of brown paint, but whatever. I just took it like this is faceless evil, even though they definitely have faces. But faceless evil in the sense of like they're just a bunch of nobodies that harmed a kid because the kid's quirk was really weird. Yeah, I probably didn't notice it because I was rationalizing it like that. If they still don't really look blackface to me. That's just me. I will take back the look white. That I will say. I don't know how I misconstrued that, but the other thing
I would have avoided drawing it that way. Let me put it that way. I would have avoided drawing it that way.
This also could be their actual skin tone too, in terms of like, if this was the kid's family, then his quirk is derived from whatever their quirks are, whatever these quirks are in general. I don't know what their quirks are. I don't know why they look the way they do.
Maybe they just naturally look like they're wearing blackface at all times. I don't know, dude.
I don't think those are. No one's gonna point out. That's a mustache. Those aren't lips.
Mustache.
Yeah, those aren't lips. Those are mustaches. How do you think those are blackface lips?
No, the guy on the left definitely looks like regular mouth, but the other ones look. The red looked like blackface lips-ish to me.
What? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the guy with the mustache, the family with the glasses. That was a mustache I saw, and then the other guy had like a very skinny mustache, and the other guy didn't have any facial hair at all. I'm looking right now just to see if there was somebody I missed. I just don't seek out these types of things or even recognize it. That's it for them. Okay, whatever. Maybe they have more. And also with red though. Sorry, we're going with the red. That might be their tongue. Now I'm done.
No, that was important to point out. At 3:30, and this is gonna make me sound dumb, maybe. I'm just realizing now how many hands there appear in the opening scene of the opening of My Hero Academia this season, and how much of a theme hand-holding is throughout the entire series. I mean, just in this episode alone, a couple examples are Coda and Eri holding hands at 6:40, and Ida's speech at 9 o'clock about everyone taking one another by the hand. All that being said, it was interesting that Shigaraki, the one whose big theme throughout the whole series is that like he needed his hand held the most, had covered himself in disembodied hands. So I just thought that was super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And his non-quirk quirk was to create pieces of hands and stuff like that. He was just very hand themed for somebody that just wanted someone to hold his hand. All right, I'm going to assume you don't have anything to say about that.
No, sorry. Something happened in the game, and I'm trying to keep track with you, and then also do this. But that's fine. Yeah, I had nothing to say.
Okay. You just go or something if you don't have something to say, just so I know that you're still there. Just you know.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm such a jerk.
That tickled me. Why did that tickle me? Dang it! I hate you.
It was fun to see Coda training to be a hero. At 7:22, I was kind of sad to see that it looked like Spinner didn't make a comic book. He wrote a full-on book, because you can see them reading it, and first of all, it doesn't look like a book from the cover, but second of all, you can see them reading it and it's open and you don't see any pictures, but you can see like the inside of the book. So it's like they kind of went out of their way to show you that like it wasn't a comic book. The timeline, I found the timeline of this episode. Remember I told you like I had a tough time connecting with it a little bit. I think one of the reasons is that like the timeline of the episode itself jumps around a little bit. For example, at 7:45, he's a teacher, like in a full adult, and then at 7:56, they're out getting their diplomas, and then in between those two, it's like the scene in the snow where it's 3 months to graduation. And I also I was like, why did they even show the scene of Deku and Uraraka walking in the snow at all? And then like the transition from that to the next scene is like it looks like they almost sort of hear a sound and they turn, and the sound is 3 months later with the sound of the it's like 3 months. They hear the sound, they turn around to look at it, and then the sound turns out to be the sound of the party 3 months later at graduation. And they'd already kind of shown. I don't know. It was a little all over the place, and I think that was one of the parts that made me less able to emotionally connect with the scenes. That plus everything was very rapid fire at some points. I found myself pausing pausing the video a lot or going back a little bit to see things that I was missing along the way, and that kind of took me out of it too. That I was to understand what was going on or to catch the details of things. I found myself constantly pausing. Excuse me, and taking little steps back to see what I was missing.
I can see what you mean by being disconnected or whatever. I wasn't listening for a reason. And I couldn't tell you why. I was able to follow everything. It's oh, what the heck? Oh no, don't start taking pictures. I don't know why I was able to keep connected or keep everything in line. It was like I was doing anything special. As for like that scene with Deku and Araka, I think that it was just part of that whole, like, you know, Deku and her are still talking, and they were just showing that. I mean, Deku literally says, like, are your plans still the same after high school? And she's like, yeah, but what about you? And he's like, yep, for sure. But to me, I just took that as like, okay, we see that apparently they discussed what they were doing after high school. Again, I don't know why we need to know that, but I mean, it's cool that, again, it's part of that whole that you were asking for, just seeing that if Uraraka and him still like kind of chatted. I feel like
they took a walk that one day.
I mean, it's better than nothing. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I feel like, well, I understand you saying that you would rather have them have told you straight up. It's like, some people don't like being told. Some people, there are a lot of people out here, and I see on both sides.
Well, fuck those people.
They just don't like being handheld, and they think that I should be able to understand it from visual cues and stuff like that. It's just, I always hear it on both sides about, like, why didn't he tell me this? Like, I don't need to be told that. You know, I don't know where the middle ground is.
Because it's nice to see.
But some people don't care. That's the thing. People rather have picked up on that on their own, or they rather have imagined it. You know, that's just the thing. Some people feel like being told something straight up makes them feel dumb, and some people have that. Now, why people feel dumb by being told this, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, like you feel like they're belittling you somehow. In some cases, yeah, depending on how you tell something to somebody, yeah, you could feel like they're belittling you. What is that? That's not a shiny frog, is there? But yeah, I think that was a good example of them chatting. Like I said before, they give you what you want. It's just not her as an adult. Because again, I still say, like, Deku is a teacher. I don't know how Uraraka would have been able to, other than maybe talking to him on the phone, but at the same time, it's like she's still busy with hero work and doing other things. It doesn't sound like she's like got free time a lot. If, again, what that short has been telling me is true or not, I need to go and find the epilogue. I could easily find it, but I want to wait to see what the OVA is about, if there is an OVA. And if not, I'll definitely go and look into the epilogue and figure out what's going on there.
Okay.
But yeah, to me, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if she would have found the time to chat with him. Not saying that she doesn't want to. It's just like, it's not like Deku's a hero. Yet, again.
Okay. Like I already mentioned that Monomo seemed to be getting a ton of airtime in the last 2 episodes. I already mentioned that still there's runtime in this episode. Cringy moment. Dai's quirk was the last one to be introduced in the series. Kind of a fun little piece of trivia. Not a big deal. At 12 minutes, they refer to Bakugo as Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite again. So I think he kept the full name.
Some people still refer to him as Dynamite. There's a quick way of referring to him. I did say that he still kept his full name.
Remember we were debating that in the previous, either the last one or the one before that, about whether he just shortened it to Dynamite and left it that way. It sounds like he's referred to as Dynamite, but like it sounds also like he kept the full name as his like proper.
Yeah, I saw that. I found that kind of funny, but I guess at the same time, it was like he wrote that name down in school, and that was what they were gonna register him as, and that's what's on his license. So
yeah. Let's see. It was nice that All Might's not forgotten. His statue is still the statue that people go to, like, to look for inspiration. Later in the episode, I noticed that Deku got a statue, and that was kind of cool. They show like some people walking by a big pile of statues, and he's standing between Bakugo and Todoroki, and I thought that was pretty cool. I looked up in the wiki or something like that, and it said that Deku was the number 1 hero for like a very short period of time, and then the Million took it over. I thought that was nice that this series threw him like a little bit of a bone. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they still shortchanged him a little bit. There was a meme that came out, I guess, when the manga came out about Deku, where like the manga readers like dropped a sort of spoiler and said that Deku got a job working at McDonald's after all this, and that really tainted the fan base, I guess, and they were like really upset about it. But like the joke was that like Deku lost his powers and just became a teacher, and that they were disappointed in that, and there was like a lot of fan upset and controversy about that. But it was nice to see that Deku did get some little bones thrown his way here and there. I thought it was kind of cool that the heroes are less lifesavers now and more like peacekeepers and like peace. Oh, what am I thinking? Advocates of peace and role models now. It's more like the peaceful approach that Deku took to everything. That like they're all I don't know. They're like saving souls more than they're saving lives, and I liked that shift in focus. I thought that was nice. At 13:20, I noticed the Ares horn grew back the rest of the way. That was a nice thing to see, because I was worried when they said, "Oh, that might damage your quirk." I was wondering if they would stick with that as like a scar that she took with her, but it looks like her horn grew back. I mean, we don't know for sure that everything's fine, but showing her happy and with her horn fully back made me think that it probably was fine. So I was happy about that. I sent you a chat GPT on how the #1 hero was determined. Because remember we didn't know, and I asked you last time. It looks like it's determined by the hero billboard chart, but there was like many factors. It wasn't just the most popular. It was also about their performance and their media presence and their combat ability and professional conduct and stuff like that. So it wasn't just a popularity contest. It was like a lot of things that came into it.
I mean, that was before Hawks changed it. I'm not sure what Hawks did, but he changed it.
Oh, really? Yeah, I knew that. I think he changed it to reflect that like non-heroes could be on that list too. That seemed to be what they explained it to be. I think this was what it was before that, before Hawks changed it.
No, I'm aware. That's what I was saying. Like I think I brought it up before, but like I just thought it was interesting because like Hawks decided he wanted to include more heroes. So somebody had brought up another YouTuber I was watching reactions from. They brought it up that they said this might actually be including Vigilante, because like Vigilantes are the things in My Hero Academia. Vigilante, they're not superheroes. They're Vigilantes over there, so like, it could just be opening up to include Vigilantes. Which I guess would make sense considering that. Like again, we know they don't take kindly to Rex. I mean, they don't take kindly to Vigilantes. Like, and then Deborah was one before he became a hero, so you know. I thought it was interesting that Hawks wanted to change it. He wanted to have more heroes at the ready in case they have another life-ending crisis, world-ending crisis, which they almost did with that little kid that granny that you brought up before. Like, I didn't even bring it up, but I did recognize that she was the lady that Shigaraki's hand had grabbed, and then she said like, "Another pro hero will come and get you." I was like, and she said she never slept. I like that she said that she never slept soundly ever since that day. I do like so it did affect her. Look at the bad she didn't sleep all that well, but I guess it's like to her, like she failed that little kid. A part was like, I wonder why she didn't recognize Shigaraki was the kid that she didn't say, but I guess at the same time, like when she saw him, he still had black hair, so like she wouldn't have recognized Shigaraki as an adult. I guess that's like why she didn't recognize him.
Huh. Very fair. Why did Bakugo bother wearing an eye mask? was a question that occurred to me.
I mean, he was wearing it half the time.
I know, it's just funny because like everybody's seen his face a million times. I was like, why did people bother? Why did he bother wearing an eye mask at all? Just more of a funny observation than anything. Let's see what else I got. 1405. This was sort of a difficult thing to read. When they're talking about Todoroki, he says, and I hear fewer people mention that he's Endeavor's son these days too. And I was like, oh, it's nice that he got his own identity and everything, but like it also sounded like he was getting out from under the shadow of a hero that didn't have the greatest reputation at the end. So I felt bad because at the end he does care about his father and like he's not so against being connected to him in some way, but as soon as he accepted it, then people kind of separated him from it because I think they see him as better, you know.
The thing is, I think I've always felt like each. A lot of understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's sad, but I feel like he's always cared about his father. It's just like I will say. Let me actually put more framing around that. After the situation he had with Deku during the tournament, I think he always kind of sort of cared about his father because there are varying scenes that we see of him worrying. Because like when Endeavor was when he thought Endeavor was gonna die, you saw him like panic a little bit, and when he realized his father was alive, he kind of just calmed down during that fight with that high-end Nomu. There have been varying points where he doesn't seem like he was holding on to too much more hatred. Well, he definitely still had his issues. I don't think he truly 100% hated his father. I think he was probably the only child. I think he was the only male child that Endeavor had that probably didn't despise him. Which is interesting considering that he was the last one that they gave birth to, and he still kind of had a lot of trauma associated with it. But kind of like the same thing with even his wife, where it doesn't seem like she truly despised him all that much. She kind of despised herself more than anything else because she was the reason why why Todoroki has that burn. But Todoroki did associate that burn with his father. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like to me, it is like in one of those situations where like I think Shoto himself didn't really 100% hate his father as much beyond the tournament. And yeah, he definitely got over it and started loving his father. Yeah, and he started accepting it. But again, it's like I feel like he was the only one willing to forgive and forget this one time. But yeah, like Natsuo, he was like he still can't get over it, even though I suspect based on the way he was talking to him, or he had left for his wedding, it sounded like maybe he was slowly but surely getting over it. Because he even complimented his father, even though he made fun of that moment. But like, I understand why he made fun of it. I'm just saying it for me. Like I feel like maybe Natsuo is coming around in his father, because I feel like before then he would have never called his father cool. But it was one of those things. Like to me, I felt like he was coming around. Whether he was going to let him be in his life again, that's a totally different story. And I don't think Endeavor has the right to claim or ask for that. So, same thing with Fuyumi, the sister. It seemed like she had forgiven, or at least been willing to forget everything that happened to her as a kid. And she seemed to be the closest to Endeavor of all the children, anyway. But yeah, I guess it's like I guess I'm saying all this to say it's cool that it seems like he's getting away from his father's image. I will say, I mean, it's cool that his father. It seems like Endeavor has managed to do that. But it seems like a part of that might have been Endeavor. Endeavor did say that he was going to keep the fallout from them, but it sounds like, based on the fact that nobody is really calling him Endeavor's son anymore, says that Endeavor has managed to keep the fallout from reaching his son. And I think it's safe to say that he must have kept the fallout from the other parts of his family too.
Right.
Like I found that kind of I found it cool that at least it sounds like he's kept it from Shoto. Shoto's able to live his life.
It sounds like I thought it was fun that it seems implied that the top three heroes eventually become Lemillion, Mountain Lady, and Kami Woods. It was fun to see Dark Shadow and Invisible Girl getting sponsorships. Like they walk by a place and you see like Invisible Girl like selling perfume, which
I have to say, I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. I understand Invisible Girl getting a perfume line. Dark Shadow, that it confuses me.
I thought it was very funny and creative for Invisible Girl to get a perfume line.
No, I understand why Invisible Girl got it. Dark Shadow's the one I'm still confused by.
I forgot what his was. What was his?
He got a cologne. Him and Invisible Girl got like a cologne and perfume sponsorship from the looks of it, because they were on the same window. Like I think his was cologne. At least I think it was. It sounded like it said the smell of the shadow or something like that. But it's just like, to me, it was like, why did Tokiyama get a cologne? Like, it just seemed so random to me. Like I wouldn't. Like, if I remember correctly, he was against trying to do those kinds of things when they were first training. When Mount Lenny was training them about was training them for I guess like for like their a part of their like the exam. I think was their outward appearance to the world. I think Tokiyama didn't want to like truly be a part of that or gain. It just seems kind of funny that it seems like he must have gotten over his distaste for it, because like he's got a sponsorship of some kind. It doesn't seem like he's that upset by it. Granted, he's probably asleep when we see that, considering that he's like a night hero for the looks of it. With Shinzo. I have to say it wasn't funny that he got a smile. It was just the weirdest thing. I wasn't expecting to see him as an adult with a cologne line. That was the last thing I was expecting.
Yeah. I found it interesting they were doing a documentary on the surprising origin of Red Riot, and like I tried to find any kind of surprising origin that he had, and it doesn't exist. And beyond that line,
it's surprising just because he's how normal he is.
That's what I mean. He seems like he's just this guy, but apparently he has a surprising origin.
I think that's trying to sell papers. I think it's what they usually do. Again, he's literally selling. He sold out calendars, manually calendars.
That's fair.
Sorry.
Let's see.
Man, the calendars are still quite funny.
When he was talking to Dai, it was fun to see Deku going back to like his old like series, like season 1, muttering and calculating Deku. That gets distracted and kind of forgot where he was. 1816, they state straight out, this is the story about how we became the greatest heroes, but word for word in episode 1, the promise is this is the story about how I became the world's greatest hero.
I told you this before that I think maybe they were lying to us.
They were lying to us because Deku doesn't become, none of them become the greatest heroes.
Technically they do, because everybody, they got a statue in the middle next to All Might. Like not just Deku, everybody's got like a statue together.
So what did Class 1B, what's his face, that copies Quirks, got a statue too, and like all the Class 1Bs got statues too.
They all become the greatest hero. I mean, that's kind of like what Hawks is trying to do. Is he's trying to make more heroes. He wants there to be more. I think what he says, he wants there to be more available heroes, not just the top heroes in the professional. I guess he wants to be able to, like, I guess, call on other more heroes to help.
The greatest of what? The greatest of like My Hero Academia. The greatest of the world of all time.
I think he's
the greatest of Japan. Like Star and Stripe is definitely one of the greatest heroes, and she's not anything to do with them, really, except that they were there at the same time at one point.
I think they're celebrating her in America. She wasn't Japanese, even though she was speaking Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah, so Anyway, I thought that was, but like, and that kind of makes Stain wrong too, and undoes the Stain storyline a little bit. Because Stain was like, "You guys aren't real heroes," and blah blah blah, and only Deku in All Might are worthy of being the great heroes. But like, according to this, they're all the greatest heroes of all time.
But wasn't a lot of that being undone anyway? Because like, yes, Stain had that opinion, but that was only his opinion. He was using his very small-minded viewpoint. Oh well, I can't say it's so small-minded. I'm not gonna say it's so small-minded. But he was just using his own experiences to say who and who wasn't a hero, because he was only letting Deku All Might truly be called hero, because he almost killed Ingenium. Well, no, he almost killed Ida. He nearly killed Ingenium, because he didn't think those guys were heroes, even though they were doing heroic acts. And it seems like throughout the entirety of the show, more and more heroes were coming abroad, out of nowhere. People who deserved to have that name, because I think they were undoing a lot of, like, or at least showing that Stain was wrong. There definitely are more heroes than just Deku and All Might.
Yeah.
And again, I hate to also harp on something I said before too. Is like, All Might, regardless of all the good he did, still did a lot of damage, and he did damage well intentioned. He did like well intentioned. That's really bad to say well intentioned damage, but he had the right mindset. I think he was going about it the wrong way, which I think again is also leading to the whole idea of Hawk saying that he wants there to be more than just top heroes available to do things. That's what it sounds like. Hawks wants to reinvent and reinvigorate how the hero society works. I don't know. I don't think Stain's viewpoint or whatever, or what he said, was gonna really hold that much water at some point. It sucks that Stain said kind of got rewritten, but like, I guess I think it was always gonna get under. It was gonna get like rewritten or something like that. I think it was always gonna happen. Even Stain tried to be a hero and died.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's just interesting to see, like, Stain was wrong all along, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, they all were heroes in the end.
Well, I think he was right at a time, the time period he came from. Not time period, but like the area and time where he was. I think he had been right, because again, like, he was doing all that underneath Endeavor. Endeavor was doing his thing before Endeavor changed. He might have been right at one point in time, but he wasn't gonna be right all the time. The entire time. Words, English muffins.
This is a hot take, and you might not agree with me on this one.
I'm about to get up now. Just kidding.
Endeavor shouldn't have retired.
I honestly don't know how to feel about that. Wasn't he missing a leg as well as an arm?
An arm. He was missing an arm at least, possibly a leg. Did you ever? Are you familiar with DC very well?
The city, or are you talking about the comics?
The comics, you silly man.
Who are you referring to in the DC comic universe?
Oracle.
Oh, you mean the Batgirl storyline? Oh,
yeah.
I guess he could have done that, but who would he have been Oracle for?
Anybody. He was, as the #1 hero at one point, he would have been one of the most experienced heroes in the game. Like, he could have been he was a bright guy. He wasn't dumb. He could have definitely been like a strategist and like things like that.
I guess, but hear me out. While while it was shocking that he was retiring, I think maybe it had to be done because now the world knows what he's done, if they didn't already know.
Mm-hmm.
Speaks to another problem in the hero world to begin with. But with that being said, the world knows what he has done. I'm not sure how much they would have trusted him anyway. And on 2, Endeavor is also looking his wounds, and he was also, struggling with what he had done, and like was coming to bear with it. And he wanted not to make amends for it, but more like try to clean up his mess. I feel like the best way to do that was to retire and do what he is doing, which is like being there for his son, even if his son doesn't want him there.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone part-time or all sorts of stuff. He didn't have to go. It wasn't a shit or get off the pot kind of scenario. Like he could have been active in many ways, in shapes and forms.
I don't think he thought that that would have was the best. I don't think he thought that was the best, like the best idea. I'm willing to bet.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, well, it would have been interesting for again, I will say, his experience would have been very helpful. Yeah, I'm not even denying that. Especially with how he ran his organization. Dang, but I guess it's not like his organization has to stop doing anything. He just won't. He just won't have like I guess overseeing of the day-to-day operations. In fact, I don't even know if his organization even dismantled or not. I don't think it did, considering that like that episode we found out he retired. We saw like 2 of his like organization members like outside with the limo waiting for him. So I was under the impression that at least his organization was still up and running.
Yeah. um. Yeah, his organization. He seems to at least be the business owner, but like they never really said that he got like directly involved or anything. I just thought it was. I thought it was a little bit of a hot take that like I feel like he um could have stuck around a little harder.
Yeah, I get you. Probably you think it's an overreaction. I mean, he's kind of shown that he's a bit of an overreactor. So like, yeah.
Yeah, like when he beat his wife and stuff. Yeah.
You know what? Let me just move on. We're on the final episode. Could you just not break it? He didn't beat his wife.
It's so satisfying. So satisfying to say that to you.
He did not beat his wife. I'm still on that. He did not touch his wife.
Oh, he stopped beating his wife.
He did not touch his wife. You know, no, we're not. I'm not doing this.
He certainly touched his wife. He's got kids with her.
Zen. I'm not letting you get to me. Zen.
I don't know what Zen means, but it sounds effective.
Just trying to keep myself calm.
1845. What fight with All for One is he referring to when he says he gathered data from it?
Because he had three with the suit.
He had 3 iconic. Yeah, I thought it was with the suit maybe, but he had 3 iconic fights with All for One.
I think the only time that data would have been collected was with the suit that he used near the end of the show. I didn't know if they collected.
I didn't know if they collected data to make that moment happen that suit happen in the first place.
Well, I mean, yeah, they did, but I think they collected more data.
Yeah. At 1916. Oh no, I'm gonna skip that one. That's a dumb question. I just observed that it looked really weird the way the suit was like recreating itself on the left-hand side in 1916, but like it's not worth talking about.
What do you mean? It was the same. It materialized on his arm, kind of like how it materialized on All Might's arm.
It looked like it glitched onto his. Looked like it was like glitching into existence, though. It was like a weird way to do it.
It was in many pieces. I mean, not that this is a top. I was just saying that it looked the same way. It also is a 3D model, I think, too. So it's not gonna look one-to-one.
Yeah. As he's crying as he sees the support glove, all I could think about is how humble and unassuming he is. Like even now, at this point, he sees it as this cherished and wonderful gift. It doesn't occur to him in the least that he's earned it or that he deserves it. For him, it's just like a blessing. You know what I mean? That like he never occurs to him like that it's an acknowledgement of what he's done. You know what I mean? I thought it was interesting in 2012 that Invisible Girl seemed to gain the ability to make herself visible. And also, not just that she seemed to be able to make herself visible, but also that she seemed to be able to make her clothes invisible, except for some reason for her gloves.
Probably a choice,
I guess. But she pops back in and she's not naked now. She's like wearing clothes. And I was like, oh, well, isn't that special?
Well, I just want to say, wouldn't you think that as an adult woman she would be able to do that?
Yeah, it took her a little bit, but it's funny. Oh, how did Aoyama become a sidekick without finishing hero school? Because he dropped out.
He was going to a different school, I thought. Like when he left the school, he was going to another school. Because like UA isn't the only hero school. It's just UA is like one of the top hero schools.
Okay.
So he made mention he didn't want to come to UA anyway. That was all for one.
Yeah. It was kind of nice to see Shigaraki kind of appear and nod approvingly, like he was an old friend at that point. Reddit was trying to figure out if that was a ghost or not. To me, it seemed pretty clear that it was a vestige remnant.
Why would it be vestiges in Deku? He didn't leave a piece in Deku.
He merged with Deku a bit, and he was also Deku has an ember of All for One, and he is now one of the carriers of All for One. So it struck me that maybe he would have an ember of the vestige, the remaining vestige, since all the other vestiges were wiped out. But Shigaraki was also a carrier of All for One, and he didn't wipe his own vestige out. So at least not the part in Deku. So it struck me that maybe Deku had a vestige of Shigaraki still sort of left in the ember.
But Deku wouldn't have the ember. The ember's gone when he's an adult. He doesn't have it anymore.
No, he gets all the way through hero school with it.
I thought it died off at some point in hero school.
He gets through hero school with it. All for One had it for years, so it stands that Deku would have it for a little bit.
But no, he's saying he doesn't have it anymore though. I think Deku even said it's gone.
Yeah, but the timeline jumped all over the place, so I don't know which timeline, if that was before or after when he said it was gone.
I mean, but the thing is, like, if you're talking about when he jumped up, he was in the sky flying with his friends, and he saw Shigaraki on the thing, that had to be in adulthood. Like, that had to be like many years after school. Like, that was not a young looking Deku. That was an older looking Deku.
I couldn't think of anything else it could have been. I don't think it's a ghost. There's no ghosts in this show.
You say that, but then we had Night Eye. I'm not gonna get into that. It's not worth talking about.
Night Eye was like a vision, and I guess it could have been like sort of an imagined thing, but I don't know. It seems nicer as a vestige. It makes for a cooler story if there's like a little teeny piece of Shigaraki's vestiges sort of enough to appear for a split second in the corner of his eye, but over him making it up in his head. But I guess, it's not that yours is wrong.
Him making a vestige, I think is a little bit messy, but I mean, I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah. Let's see. It was nice to see Eri playing music with Jiro and Kaminari. They show her in another scene, like with a guitar. And I clearly am forgetting something where she said she wanted to be into music, aren't I?
I mean, the guitar might be referencing the fact that they made that concert specifically for Eri, and Jiro was the one who was leading it, and she had the guitar. And then, like, later on, she says she wants to sing. There's varying points that shows that she wants to sing. She likes music.
Yeah, it just didn't stick with me for some reason, unfortunately. But that makes perfect sense. This is incorrect, and I shouldn't even be saying it in the first place. But at 2151, I'm only going to say this. I'm going to say this knowing full well that I'm wrong. But for a second, I thought they were shipping Ojiro and Sato as a gay couple. And then they go on to tell the story, and it's clear that they're not. But for a little tiny piece of a second, I thought they were shipping them as gay.
I don't know why you think you're like I Can't Stop Twinkling is gay. Are you talking about the Tail Man and Sugar Rush?
Ojiro and Sato.
Isn't Sato Sugar Rush?
Let me look. I think Sato is Sugar Rush, yeah.
Well, I'm still gonna say I don't know how you. Well,
and Ojiro is the karate guy.
Well, Tailman and Sugar.
It was just the way they presented it at first. They were like, "Oh, they're popular with both men and women," and then they come in and they sort of looked like they were together, and then I was completely wrong. But for like a split second, I thought that was a thing.
They do bring up a lot how like which groups of people some of these heroes are popular with. I did think that was really interesting. They do bring that up as a detail you should know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna reiterate one more time for the kids in the back. I recognized pretty quickly that I was wrong, but it hit me enough where I paused the video and wrote it down. And I'm like, are they? And then like I played it and I went back and rewrote my note.
I don't really know how. I mean, I'm just gonna take your note seriously really quick because I mean, who knows? You may be onto something. But like, I don't. Here's my. I don't like people assuming I'm gay from the way I look, and I think that's kind of where my issue kind of stems from a little bit. It's like assuming somebody's gay. You know, I know you say you might be wrong, but I'm saying you also.
When I was younger, people assumed I was gay all the time. When I was younger, I don't know. At some point, it stopped, but from like 18 to like 20, 23, people thought I was gay all the time. I even went into when I was in college. I joined the Rainbow Club and I would go attend meetings, which was like the gay group at Rhode Island College, and I went to support it because I took women's studies courses and stuff like that, and I was like in support of that kind of stuff, and I was like wanted to be part of it. And I went in at one point when I went in to join it. I came in and I said like, "Are you guys cool with like a straight guy joining?" And they said, I don't know. Do you know one?"
Damn.
I was like, straight from the horse's mouth.
I'm sorry. So they just straight up told you to your eyes that we think you're
Yeah.
gay. Okay.
Like, oh, no, I'm straight.
I'm sorry. That is so. Well, first of all, like, that is totally you joining a rainbow club because you just like it's a you want to engross yourself in all kinds of experiences you can so you can learn more. But
yeah.
like for you to come out and ask, would you guys be okay with a straight guy joining? You're like, yeah. Well, you know anybody? Like,
Yeah.
You're looking at him. And he's like, yeah, right.
Yeah. Who's got two thumbs and feels like shit right now? You know,
no, but to say for me, it's like with the whole Sato thing, like being 100% honest. I guess now I'm thinking about it's like, yeah, Sato is a
can you also take a moment to like appreciate that I was not allowed to be offended by that?
Wait, what?
You're not allowed to like be offended by being called gay if you're like going into like a gay club like that supports gay people. You'd be like, oh, cool, you guys think I'm gay? No, I'm not, but that's really a big compliment. Like you can't be like, well, fuck you too. I mean, you're not allowed to be offended by being called gay by gay people in a gay people club. You know, it's almost like
I could fight that, but
initiation test or something. You know what I mean? So,
but the whole Sato, like I guess like Sato, like
yeah,
I guess because he can cook, and it's like one of the more random things we learn about him is that he's capable of cooking. I guess I mean. From that, you would probably think, wonder why they're telling us that he's good at cooking. Because no one other than Bakugo, no one else is apparently good in the kitchen. But it's just like, no, at least no other dude. But it is, I guess it's like, I guess you could assume, and then I guess them being paired together. I don't know. I feel bad for doing it because like I always hated it happening to me. Maybe I'm more taking that on a personal level than I should. And I should probably step away. I think I'm going to. I'm just going to step away from it. Like, who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, we learn that they are. Funny. I don't like that's never come up in anything I've ever heard. That people thinking that there was gay people in My Hero Academia, which is nothing wrong with that. I want to just take a step back and say there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, and obviously I have nothing wrong with it either. I just don't want to be gay myself. You know what I mean? Like it's just not who I am. So it was awkward because I was like, well, I might want to meet like a woman someday, and if she thinks I'm gay, she's not gonna like want to be interested. You know what I mean? So it was a little unsettling to be identified as obviously gay by everybody I came across for a long time.
Look at that. It just to me is like, I don't know how you could look at Sato, but then I thought about it for a minute. I was like, no, I think you could probably look at Sato. I think he's gay. I was like, but okay. But moving on from this very weird tangent that I started.
You're fine. Other than that, yeah, they just Ojiro and Sato for a brief second when they came on screen. The way they were all cozy and like came in, they gave me like TFS, Yajirobe, and Korin vibes for a second, and then I realized no, they're just friends. Let's see. Shoto made only 8th place in the hero rankings, which was surprising to me. I thought Shoto would be like top 5 at least. I would have guessed number 1 or at least first 3.
I don't know where I would have placed, but I did bring up that I thought number 8 was kind of low.
Yeah. That struck me as low too. I was like, oh. What is the 5 Weeks Festival? I think it was spelled WEES in the subtitles, but they made a typo somewhere else. So I'm assuming they meant weeks. What was the 5 Weeks Festival?
I don't know what you're talking about.
They mention it in 2242. They say they still celebrate the 5 Wees Festival, but I think they meant weeks.
I don't know if like I feel like they meant 5 leaves. They meant 5.
Well, like I said, there was somewhere else in the episode where I saw a typo, and the other typo was really obvious. So I'm assuming this was a typo too, but I just didn't know what the festival was. Even regardless of its spelling, I didn't know what it was. But they referred to it like it was something we should know what it is.
I don't know what that is. It's possible that may be something from Vigilante that I don't know anything about.
Maybe. It was nice to see Ed shot fully healed at 22:52. How'd you feel about that?
I didn't notice it.
Oh, they just straight up normal. He's standing next to Best Jeanist, and he's fully healed. And then at 23:11, they say our story continues on again. And it's like they've been saying this over and over and over again. And it's like, okay, what does that mean?
I think they're just saying that the story continues on. We won't see it. It's just that they keep living.
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering if it meant something. The music at the end of the episode. This is a tiny detail, but given that this is the finality of 170 episodes. If you watch the episode all the way to the end, the music just kind of cuts off abruptly. It like doesn't like have a final note or anything that like is timed. It's just like, and then the episode's done, and they're like, "Fuck you." I wasn't a big fan of that abrupt ending. I think they should have had like some sort of rap to the feeling of the episode, and not just like. No. You don't feel that way?
I don't remember that. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I mean, I obviously I wasn't bothered by it. I don't really remember it.
Yeah. Apparently, in the Reddit discussions, we didn't read the manga, but there was a bonus chapter in the manga that was not adapted to anime. And I was bummed out about that because apparently it had a lot more after story. You know what I mean? Like more extra details about what happened afterwards that we miss out on. It would have been really nice to hear a little bit more of that. I tried to get Excuse me, I tried to get ChatGPT to summarize it for me, but they didn't. I don't think ChatGPT knew the answer. I think it was giving me BS. But I kind of wanted to know. So, other than a couple final thoughts on the series in general, that was all of my stuff, and I've already touched upon my final thoughts as well. I told you that, like, how I felt about the pacing of the final episode, that it jumped around a little bit and felt rushed. I told you about how the good feels at the end. I wasn't sure if they paid off enough for the darkness I watched to get to them. I wanted more commitment to things happening in the conclusive episodes. I found the epilogue content to be less than satisfying, and then I told you about the Deku working at McDonald's meme. So that was kind of all my stuff. I wasn't in love with how the series ended overall. I wanted a little bit more quality to it. I can't point at something and say, it's like my son's teacher this year. Like, I want to complain about my son's teacher because I really wanted a better teacher for my son. But I can't, there's nothing specific to complain about. It's just none of it was, like, exceptional to me. If that makes sense. Like, they touched all the notes. They covered all their bases. They touched all the notes. Everything that should have been talked about was talked about. It just didn't. And I also want to acknowledge formally that, like, if the Reddit community is any indication, like, I am very much in the minority. But it just didn't hit me hard. It just didn't hit me with, like, the impact that I was hoping for. The word I used with you on Discord was I found it a little bland. But apparently there were people that were crying through the entire thing.
I mean, I guess I can say this. It's just maybe, I don't know, maybe you're expecting a little bit too much. And I don't know what you're expecting, so I can't 100% say you were expecting too much. I'm pretty sure you're probably expecting everything within reasonable, but it's just like the creator has to do so many certain things. He doesn't like if he didn't think something was worth it, or he didn't think about a character or something like that's just, you know, he didn't do something. I know you mentioned that you wish there was more Lemillion, but I was like, to me, I think Lemillion's story and everything kind of just felt complete. I don't think he needed to be there. The bits and pieces they did mention of what Lemillion was doing was cool. Uraraka, I kind of agree there. Maybe there should have been more Uraraka, but at the same time, I feel like with the stuff with Uraraka, the only thing I really wanted with more Uraraka was just the whole situation of, like, and not really her relationship with Deku as much as, like, her friendship with him. More like if there was ever some conclusion to the potato in the room or whatever, of, like, it seemed very clear to me that everybody else in her class knew she was crushing on Deku, but Deku, obviously, because he's the main character, he can't know. He has to be oblivious to it. I thought maybe they were going to pay that off, because usually that's what they do, is they pay it off with, like, a confirmation of a couple. And shown in manga, if there is romance brewing in the show, but they brewed romance, but they didn't finish it, and I know that apparently that's where a lot of people in the manga were upset with, was like there was large ambiguity in that regard.
For a series that was willing to be so serious about the dark things, they, like, didn't do anything really serious about the light things.
For me, I always saw the light things as kind of a silly, of, like, you know, things are happy go lucky, nothing is serious during those moments because it's, like, all happiness.
People lost arms, the cities were destroyed, people died, people, like, were tortured, like Yuri was tortured, people sacrificed it all, like, people got sour and retired and disillusioned with life and angry and selfish and horrible in every way you can imagine, but, like, nobody fell in love, you know, or I don't know, like, the good things of the world were, like, played down, and the bad things of the world were, like, played up.
I want to retort that someone did fall in love.
Who?
Uraraka.
With who?
Deku. Were you not paying attention to that?
They didn't fall in love.
No, Uraraka fell in love with Deku. That actually happened.
When?
Everybody in UA knew that. The only person who didn't was Deku. And again, I don't know what Deku's like.
Nothing came out of it.
I mean, clearly something was supposed to come out of it because according to the manga, at least the epilogue, whatever, they do.
They didn't so much as hold hands.
They go into a relationship at some point when they're older. You talk about they didn't hold hands. Did you forget the last episode? They were holding hands in that thing. What happened?
Oh, really? I missed it.
Am I in a different timeline?
No, I'm just 50 minutes into my meds. But like, I don't know. Nobody had kids. Nobody like got married. Nobody like, I don't know. Nobody like, I don't know. Grape didn't get anything he wanted. Like a lot of the people like didn't get the happy endings they wanted. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't get what they earned. And I don't know. It was okay for a little bit. Like Deku, I sort of kind of like that humility was a defining characteristic of him, even when he deserved more. But like, Grape having like a little ugly woman fall in love with him that he loved back would have been cute. You know what I mean? Someone like a little midget troll person like himself that like he ended up with and turned out to be happy with would have been very funny. Some of the other stuff would have been cool too, like Earphone Jack. If she had turned out to be a great musician as well as a hero or something, that would have been kind of cool. Like if like you saw her like playing a big concert, little notes like that where people could have gone on to like really nice things a little bit more than they did would have been nice. Like if the light flourished the same way the dark part of the series flourished.
Look at the end of it, they kind of gave the ending of a lot of these characters where they were in their life. Because Momo went off to do research.
Yeah, because like that hero thing she wasn't needed for her life's work of being a hero, so she found a different direction.
I feel like she's still a hero because she's
solid.
Because we see, I feel like she's still a hero because we see her in the final scene with everybody, and she's in the background, you know.
She is, but after all that work she put in, all that work and sacrifice and blood and sweat and tears that she put into like being a hero, she got what I suppose every hero hopes for, which is to not be needed. So it's bittersweet.
Maybe it's like you're expecting different things than what everybody else is expecting, and maybe that's where the disconnect is. Maybe.
Yeah.
But the thing was wrong with yours, but I'm just saying that like. I think like everybody else was expecting something different, mainly because like the show's ending is meant to more like these heroes go off and do their own thing and they live their lives. We may not know what they are, but that's just the ending we got. You know, we don't. It's left. I think it's left open ended like that in case they want to do another movie, if that's the case or not. But it's like, you know, I feel like these are nice endings. You know, I feel like this is like this was like nice enough. I didn't realize the Invisible Girl had boots. That was something I did not notice. That's interesting. Almost like cowboy boots. I don't know what happened there. Hiroshima Lynn got a calendar. They even tell you like there are days when team up the court council or Rocket and Sue. Wait a minute.
I'm listening.
No, I'm trying to see. I thought I saw something with Jiro because I just saw something with Jiro. Jiro and Kaminari have agencies next to them. I don't know if those are hero agencies or music agencies. It looks like it might be music agencies because they both have a guitar on their back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing she's doing music and hero work. I don't know. I feel like I'm happy with what happened there. I didn't need much more. I guess the problem is like I didn't really need much more. They were going to do something extra. I don't know what was going, like this Jump Festa business that I'm hearing about. Like it's everywhere. Like I'm gonna be disappointed if it's nothing really serious or anything like that. If it, you know, all this news about they got something going on at Jump Festa. Like, oh, I guess the exact words is that My Hero Academia was gonna have a presence at Jump Festa. I don't know why, because again, the only other thing I could think is that it had to be Vigilante, but Vigilante already had season 2 confirmed. So what's the point of My Hero having a presence at that place? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then people are expecting an OVA, and I think that epilogue, if there's going to be an OVA, they might just turn that OVA into an. I mean, they might turn the epilogue into an OVA, and that'd be the end of that.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody got their happy ending. It may not be the happy ending you're expecting, but I think they got their happy ending.
I guess I don't know.
Oh, you know what? The wheeze. I think that's just wee. You know, kids yelling wee on the because you see a picture of Shoto, making a slide, like an ice slide, and he does that actually during the concert, like a little slide for children and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Shoto does a lot of things with little kids, is what I understand. So I think that's what the 5 Wii's is about. It's just children yelling Wii on a slide. I just saw that. Because apparently it's an annual event at elementary school, so I think it just has to do with, like, it's just something that he does for the little kids. And it's an annual thing that he does. He does it yearly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody got their ending that they needed. I mean, not everybody. I mean, like you said, Mineta. Look, maybe that was to be expected. It sucks for sure, but I think it's just to be expected.
Anyway, I don't know. It's just like I said, I can't specifically complain about anything. It just felt a little bland to me.
I mean, you did say at the end, before the season started, that, you know, like, the way there's things going, not everybody's gonna be happy. And I thought maybe I wasn't gonna be happy about this, but no, I came up here and maybe you're just predicting your own opinion or your own attitude at the end of all this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's like, you know, again, it's like I watch a lot more anime than you. I am particularly picky on some things depending on what I want to watch, but like, you know, you're a lot more picky. You choose what you want to watch, and you know that's not a bad thing. You just have certain tastes that need to be fulfilled. I don't think this shows anything bad. That's like why I'm very high on it myself, because like, you know, this is cool. Like, this is one of those things I'm gonna remember. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed everything I saw of it. The only thing I'm upset with is over. The ride is over, and like now I have to find something else to watch on Saturdays. But I have plenty. I have plenty to watch on Saturdays. It's just
Poor thing.
listen, life is hard.
Yeah.
When this show ended, I just, you know, I was trying to come to terms with whatever I was feeling, and the best way I could put it is like, it's just how I was feeling when Dragon Ball Z had ended. That this listless feeling of it's over, I'm lost. But I mean, there's difference between now and then. It's like I didn't know what was out there. Now I personally know what's out there, so I gotta find something else that's gonna fill that that void that my hero is leaving. Because unless I fill it with something else to replace it, or I decide to go into vigilante territory, which I might, you know, I'm still floating that idea out there in my head. Like, maybe I should, you know, been out there. I was asking them to animate it anyway, and they have, and I haven't went to watch an episode yet. So I don't know, just, yeah, I feel like this is good. I mean, I'm not saying this is for you to change your opinion. I'm just saying I'm happy with everything. Even I still put it up there as something like it's a little bit better than Dragon Ball Z. I think I still do like it a little bit more in my head brain. I have my issues with Z, and they mostly surround about how they treated Gohan, but I'm not gonna get into that. Not here anyway. But I still hold Z in high regard. It's something I enjoy. I think this is just the next show that I was waiting for. That I was like, this is the show that I'm gonna look back on and still enjoy, or have fond memories of.
Yeah, I do too. I'll look on it favorably.
But I guess with that, it's finally over. The review
It's
series,
over!
the My Hero Academia show is over. Uh, I'm very sad, actually. I'm probably gonna cry in a pillow later.
Alternate Visuals has promised me that our next series is going to be the Mighty Nine. He signed it in blood on a contract that has bound him with his soul
I don't know how
to
I
do
feel about
so.
reviewing an episodic series that's got 15 minutes every episode. Something about that doesn't sit right with me, and I haven't been able to rationalize it. I really have not been able to rationalize why I feel this way about shows that have episodes that run 50. Because like I seriously watch sitcoms that run 50 minutes. I don't understand like why I can't get behind an Amazon original show at that runtime. And it's not like I haven't seen advertisements of Mighty Nine.
You'd have a whole week to watch it. You just watch it in 2 like half-hour chunks.
Like I've seen a commercial for it, and I was like, I thought that was interesting. That was my initial thought when I saw this. Like, that looks interesting. I was like, I haven't sat down to even watch it. Like, then you tell me it's 2 hours, and they got 8 episodes out. Sounds like you've been waiting to ask me this question, considering you're only 4 episodes in.
I'm enjoying it, and I was just like, I bet Jeremy would enjoy it. So I thought I would ask him. And then he was like, That's what his answer was.
So there is a few anime movies on the docket. I guess we'll get to those whenever. My Hero Academia, I think, is the next one. The next and last movie. We need to watch next because I know that apparently like people will like that one. I think I haven't watched it, I haven't seen it. The only thing I have seen is that All Might's a part of it. So I was like, okay, that seems interesting. I don't know how this is gonna play out. It looks like too, at least from the little bit I've seen of not really looking at it a lot. It looks like it's gonna involve a team up fight with Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto in it. Like Shoto's still gonna play a prominent part, unlike he did in the last movie he was a part of. But and then we got the Chainsaw Man Rizy arc. Can't wait to watch that because I want to see. I saw a trailer of that movie in the theaters when I was watching Demon Slayer, and it looked interesting enough. I was like, yeah, I want to see what this arc is about because apparently that's canon. But yeah, we'll get to the movies soon. I think we're gonna start picking up random anime movies. Apparently, I wasn't prepared to watch Mighty 9, but I guess pick it up next week.
You could just cry. You could cry like a little bitch.
I don't know how to take this. I'm going to show you that I have to take this by ending this podcast. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Ay.